Magazine Monday, Magazine Monday, Magazine Monday. What are you reading today? What a silly song. Anyways, today is actually Sunday, but we're going to release this on a Monday. Working on a couple of things for N-scale layouts, the little layouts that we're donating. That's a little Pike stuff structure. But let's get over to Conrail, the final years. It's not a magazine, it's a book, but hey, it's my Magazine Monday, so I get to do what I want. So hopefully you enjoy this. I love this book. This was given to me by John Mariscalco. 92 to 97, the final years, as you can see on the front. That either looks like an SD70. I'm willing to say it's a SD60M because it doesn't have the white face paint, I would assume. Yeah, here we go. Let's take a look. Yeah, SD60. 5000 series, 5600 series, should I say. I really like these Dash 8s. This is one of the later ones because it has the low ditch lights on it with the anti-glare. Love it. Love those Dash 8s. Conrail had the bare bones units, I'd like to say. Just straight off the factory floor, no bells and whistles. Well, they had bells and whistles. You get the point. They did have the class lights, though. The East Coast units. Class lights. Pretty cool. But we're just going to start with the first couple pages of this publication. Love this. Look at these E units. Oh, those are F units. Are those F or E? I can't even tell. But they look cool. They got that short nose cab on them with the extended radiator grills down the side. Love this stuff. Look at that. 6200 series. Boom, boom. Look at that. Gotta love those SD60Ms. They're really cool looking units. Kind of the precursor to the SD80 Max and the SD70 Max. But when you see the SD70 Max, they just are so much prettier. Look at this. SD80 Mac right there. Look at that 4116. My co-host on the Railroads Rock Show podcast has two of these that they are just bang up awesome looking. And it's really cool to see just how good looking of a unit these things were when they came hot off the presses, man. Got the highlight, the high headlight, low ditch lights, class lights, high adhesion trucks on them. Just really cool looking. They even look cool in the snow. The SD80 Max, motive power for the 21st century. And I felt like they were going into the 21st century looking pretty cool. There's a bunch of black and white photos here. Let's look at some of this neat stuff. Gotta love this. This is 1991, a Jeep 30. Good Lord. Ex-Pennsylvania Railroad. Just a rad-looking unit. GP35, probably an ex-Pennsy as well. Another GP35. Now, obviously, this one probably is still in its original colors, unless it is blue, but I do like it. The can opener, as they call it. Which, if you go on the Railroads Rock Show, our merch page, support the Railroads Rock Show by buying a little bit of merch. We do have a shirt. It's Conrail Blue, and it is a picture of a can opener. And it just says, if you know, you know. If you know, you know. Look at these GP40s. There's a lot of good GP power. General purpose, as they call it. That's why people call them the Jeeps. General purpose, just like a Jeep. Gets the job done wherever it goes. There's a string of them. Boom. 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 Let's get into some more. I love these. That's a SD35, I believe. Is that an SD35? Doesn't say. It looks, you count the fans. You got the two. You got your trucks. So you got your 6-axle. But this actually could be an SD40, and I'm just not seeing the middle fan because an SD35, they had a shorter tank. It was a shorter, like the frame rails, everything was shortened. Yeah, that actually looks like an SD40 now that I'm looking at it. But it's not saying. Does it say here? I don't know. That has got to be an SD40, though. You could always tell. They had a little bit bigger of a porch on the front and back, kind of like this one. You could see that porch. Yeah, see, this one, SD40. And then, God, is that That's an SD40 as well. These things are deceiving. Maybe it's the angle of the pictures that they're taking. But the workhorses of Conrail. And also of Burlington Northern. Burlington Northern had a shit ton of those things. SD40s, U-boats. They had those U-33s. Or was it U-30s? I think they were U-33s. They had a bunch of them, though. Yeah, they had that huge porch. This has got to be a 40-2. The 40-2s had a longer front and back porch. I guess they extended the body just a scotch, if that's a word. Scotch. Got a 40-2 leading the charge here with the Dash 8 behind it. Love that. With the trailer tray, the Crown, Triple Crown service. Norfolk Southern continued with that for a little bit. Zootolo. All right, let's keep heading past this. I'd love that SD. Is that a 60 or an SD50? Let's see, SD50. Notorious for having the troubles. Ooh, U.S. Olympic, the Olympic train. Let's just slap a poster on the side. Yay! We're celebrating. If you ever saw the Union Pacific path to Salt Lake, I believe is, was it 92 was that Salt Lake? And then it was like 96 was the Atlanta Olympics, I believe. The Olympics were held in Atlanta, Georgia. Look at this, couple of Santa Fe units stuck in tow. It's intriguing. Is that a 40? I can't even tell from here. Definitely a GP30 right there. You can always tell because it's got that bulbous head. It's because it has a big brain. Yay! I have the big brain and I'm moving forward. These are great photos, even though they're all in black and white. Come on, I want to see that beautiful Conrail blue. Let's get it. There we go. There it is. Now you can see a GP30 in Conrail. Conrail blue with the can openers on the side. Looks to be a U-boat on the back right there. It's a smaller one. Probably a U-23B. Or B-23-7. Depends. Depends on how they were built and classified. Look at that. All that rust on the roof. You got a rusted roof, mate. Wasn't there a band called... No, it was Rusted Root. Sorry. On my way. On my way. Now you can see. Altoona, Pennsylvania. Yay. We got a nice little horseshoe curve there. God, these are great pictures. Look at that. GP40. Count the fans. You got the one in the middle. You got the three on the back. And in this day and age, I mean, everything was very much more uniformal as far as design. If you look at what some of these companies are building now, I just watched a little thing on, I don't know, it was K-12 Productions or something. And they're showing all these different fans and all these different configurations. Battery-powered, hydrogen fuel cell, the works. That's a great-looking SD50 right there. Class lights, but no ditch lights, mate. But I do like that. We support our troops. That's probably around the Gulf War. I remember my mom, she used to, there was this song they'd play on the radio. I was just a kid, but they would play, tie a yellow ribbon round the old oak tree, blah, 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 for me. If I don't see that ribbon round that old oak tree. Great tune. We got them 40-2s again. These are great shots. Let's get rid of some of that glare. Look at that. I like how there's a 90 Mac in tow. Where is it? I got an SD40-2, but let's put the big pig behind it. These were known as the Conrail Cadillacs just for their comfort, ride, and power. Those suckers were non-stoppable. Unstoppable? Non-stoppable? I just made up a word. Yay for me. Now we're getting into the U-boats, and I guess we'll leave that for Magazine Monday next week. But rock and roll, keep moving forward, and next week we'll get into the GEs. Tomorrow, which is today, actually, I guess, because I'm recording this on Sunday. I got to head up to L.A., go on over to the Van Dyke, the Vandy Manor, and keep working on their railroad. So I'll fill you guys in on some updates on that. But until then, let's take a good look one more time at these nice little fun thingamabobs. Boom, bang, boom, bang. SD80 Max rock. You rock, bro. And so do railroads. Railroads rock. I'm going to leave you with a nice shot of the old Skaboodle that I have been working on, and it's looking great. Tree's looking great. Things are looking great. I'll give you some updates on this. We've got an RS unit out there with a UP caboose. That's just a blue box caboose behind an old school Kato unit. And as you can see with that natural sunlight bearing down on it, looks pretty cool. Custom built everything. And that's the way it's got to be sometimes. You just got to do it, shoot it, skaboot it, loot it. Love this shot. Like I said, it's one of my favorite shots because you're looking right through the fence posts. You bring it on down the line. Anyways, we'll see you guys soon. Magazine Monday. Magazine Monday. Magazine Monday. What are you reading today? Conrail, The Final Years. We'll see you guys soon. Just remember, your most important signal is going to be your next one. Peace.